All right, we're going to do a quick one. Something happened in my last game I thought was funny. Players not so much. Fired into melee. Various games have done that differently, where I know in Lamentations, one game I was running, the guy, Matt, he had this thing where you just rolled randomly who you attacked, right? And I believe in AD&D, you assigned probabilities based upon the size of all the creatures in the melee, and then you figured out the probability who got hit and who didn't get hit, right? Math. Seems like it's a little extra. And a Dragon Slayer, however, you can fire into melee. It really doesn't even give you any minuses. And with the point blank rule, if you're close to melee with a bow weapon but not within 5 feet of your opponent, it almost encourages it with the +1 to hit, +1 to damage. But if you roll a natural 1 through 4, you just hit your guy. There's no need to re-roll to hit that guy. What I did before in OSE and BX, a few others, if you missed by a factor of 4, then you rolled to hit your party member. Rolling to hit in kind of intones intent. So, I noticed in Dragon Slayer, 1, 2, 3, 4 natural roll, that if you miss, now granted, if you rolled a 4 and with your bonuses you actually hit your target, then you don't actually miss, right? But if you roll a 4 natural 1 through 4 and you miss, you simply apply the damage to your party member who's in base-to-base contact with your opponent. And then if there's multiples, you just got to figure out who to assign the damage to. Which, going from the order of action to where you work your way for actions from who's closest to combat out, that would infer that who's ever closest to you would get the dot, right? Would get the hit. Very quickly resolves firing into melee. You just did 3 damage to your hireling. He drops dead. So he's laying there at 0, which I hadn't ruled yet if they wanted to use the death and dying rule, optional rule from the core rules, and I said, yeah, we're doing it. But I hadn't decided if we were going to apply it to hirelings at the moment. But then the cleric attacks and misses as well with a natural like 1 or 3, and so I said, well, it hits the guy on the ground. -6. Dead. So the first tight quarter combat resulted in the man-at-arms, who was simply wounded by a goblin, being slain from behind with an arrow in the back of the neck. I'm sorry, in the back of the head. Down he goes. Down goes Frazier. He's out. Albert is down. Oh, yeah. And they ran past his body. No one even tended to the guy on the ground when the goblins fled. Everybody chased upstairs, literally running over the body. So I guess he was slain by friendly fire and then trampled. It's the stories at your table from your character's actions that are kind of going to leave people going, what? But I like this. It's quicker. Less math and quicker. You roll natural 1, 2, 3, 4, and you miss. Apply damage to the nearest party member. There's no rerolling to hit. There's no chance. You missed that bad, you hit your party member. You fired into a crowd. You would think it would discourage it. They dived right into it. And I was using that same rule in my OSC game, and people were still firing into the melee. They typically roll higher. I got some lucky guys. They tend to like rolls. When they bad roll, all they need it's like 7s and 8s. It's the randomness or not so randomness of the digital dice rollers, I guess. But it is not as brutal in that game in the other campaign I'm running as it has been in Dragon Slayer on the second session. At session 0, we just start playing. Session 1, Man-at-Arms got gunned down by his own hiring guy. So when they get back to town, I'm going to have the other guy make a roll to see if he refuses employment in the future. I mean, come on. Boss, you killed the other guy. Oopsie! How do you guys do it? Firing into melee. Do you simply say no? Do you just stack the minuses up on it till it's just impossible? They were in a conga line, and rules didn't say anything about minuses by falling through. It would make sense to say -2. I didn't bother. Just want to keep it flowing on that first session and get a hand-to-hand, more of a hang for the system. I'm going to make a battle board that I can draw on for rooms for the game. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather do abstract theater of the mind. But it's a smaller group, 4 people. It shouldn't be that big a deal. It really shouldn't be a big deal with 5 or 6 people until you get people who hem-haw. It's the same person that puts their finger on the chess piece and sits there for 20 minutes. I mean, ugh. Guys, we're on a timetable. Yep. Firing into melee. I don't recommend it.